So I'm a board member of a company that actually is a large public company that's currently searching for a CEO. How should I think about characteristics, Adam, of a successful CEO?
Sure, and I think some context is important because this is a question that boards are dealing with right now. I mean, we are talking to a lot of directors in our consulting work and heads of HR and CEOs, and just coming out of the pandemic, we hear the same thing from everybody. Kind of, we are rethinking everything in terms of what we are looking for in leaders of the past, and the themes that come up most often now are like agility, humanity, right? The wall between the personal and professional has come down. um, I also think one of the things, the way the idea of succession is changing is that for a very long time, companies and consultancies would develop these lists of competencies, right, that they would use for assessments. And it's very easy to get, you know, 50 or even 100 competencies that you would expect and need from an executive, like, strategic mindset and executive presence. But I think there's this dawning recognition that even with all that work, like nothing's really changing. And the fact of the matter is the average tenure of CEOs is 5 years, right? And it's been going down over time. So you have to say, like, is something about the system not working as well as it should? And I think part of the problem, Gary, is that, the degree to which hope is part of a company's talent strategy is too high, because I think what they do is they'll sort of look at a candidate and say, well, they've got a lot of the competencies. Now, this is a big new job we're going to put them into. And then they cross their fingers under the table and say, let's hope they do well. Right. And I think the way you close that gap and reduce the degree to which hope is a talent strategy is being clear about what that job entails. If we're putting them into this job, what will be the biggest determinants of whether they succeed or fail in that role? And then once you get clarity around that, then you can look at the candidate in a more sort of holistic sense and look for, does this person have a track record in that? Because you can say, as a CEO or something, we need somebody who really, for whom diversity is really important. And if you decide that that's really important, then you just look at their track record and all the teams they built in all their jobs. Were those diverse teams or not? So you get sort of a recognition. So I think it's just getting really clear on what the job entails, and then looking for, does this person have a demonstrated track record of doing that? And again, there's thousands of leadership books out there, but one of the contributions we wanted to make was to sort of get clarity around, this is what the actual job entails. It's not like that sort of hope, like, the Evel Knievel motorcycle jump across the Grand Canyon. Will they make it or not? It's like, let's close the back gap of that canyon and say, this is what the job is. And if we agree that this is what the job is, does this person have a demonstrated track record of doing this kind of work?